Okay, so we're gonna redo lab 7. I know that we stop at step 10, but you will have to start from step 1. Download the virtual machines. So you would go to Kali Linux website that's provided. Download the virtual box, which is here, right? We don't want to use the weekly one. We want to use this one, okay? So once that's downloaded, make sure that if you're using Edge, make sure we save as and put that onto your downloads folder. So once I have downloaded, I'm going to go to this PC, downloads folder, find my zip Kali Linux folder, right click, show more options, 7-zip, extract files. Okay, make sure that we save and extract. Once that happens, once the extraction is completed, open up the folder, open this up, and then load the blue file. You can double click it, or you can go to the app and add that blue file from your downloads extracted folder. Before you start, I recommend that you change your system settings for your virtual machine. Give it 8,000 megabyte of RAM, and the processor needs to be 4 or higher. I keep it at 4. These Alienwares don't do well with more. You might get like a little bit of stall, even though there's more than enough, right? So once that happens, once you change your settings, you can click start and log in. So we have done 1, 2, 3, all the way to step 10 there. Okay, same login, Kali. So this is where I'm at. I logged in. So right after you left, I have found the image file. I dug around and I searched and I found the stucknets, which is the old original one. But we have to clone, right? We have to clone our app. So in Kali, once you're logged in, open up your terminal by clicking the black square. Once this opens up, I open up too. Once this opens up, let me zoom in. Let's do this. Okay, so I am now going to begin step 13. I'm going to clone the volatility application folder or the package. And if you want to copy and paste the command, just highlight, right? Sometimes you cannot because of the symbol. Right click, copy, and then go to your Kali, right click, paste selection, or you can type that in. That saves you some time, right? Right click, copy, and then right click, paste selection, and then press enter. So it's gonna download the application package, which is Volatility3. And Volatility can only be used with CLI unless you use Volix, which is their application with the graphical user interface. Once we have downloaded the package for the application, we're going to do step 14. 14, you're going to only do the update. Otherwise, if you do both, that's going to take you about 15-20 minutes to wait. If you want to do that, that's fine. We're going to do sudo app update. I just updated, so it's going to tell me that it's done. And when you do this, it's gonna prompt you for the password. It's the same password that you've seen in the last section. So Kali. Now, updates updates the software packages that's installed on the actual OS. Upgrade the versions, also including the operating system itself, right? So once I have done the updates, I'm gonna go ahead and do the Python package installation. So when you do step 15, you're installing Python 3 pip, which is an application to install packages for Python. And pip is also integrated in the Windows environment. Okay, so I only need to do the update. You don't have to do both, but you can. And when you get to this section, you just press yes to proceed. So Y, right? Doesn't have to be capital, all can be lowercase. So for 15, where we can say, and then after that, press Y to continue. Then to proceed. Okay, so that's gonna take a minute for it to go through, right? If you have up the processor and the RAM, it's gonna be a lot quicker. If not, it's gonna be long. Okay, not too long. Then you are going to install the dependencies. So we are gonna do the build essential for the app, right? I think this is where we had left off last time. And it tells you these are the libraries that it pull. And then some of them are required. So it's at the newest version for the build essential. And then we're going to check the compiler. If you update it, this should be okay. Sometime if you're using an outdated GCC, it's not gonna work. So check the documentation of the website. So it's at 13.3 for Debian. Now, if you want to make sure that your package arrived and everything is good, right? You can do an ls for list, but you don't have to. And I see that I have the folder called Volatility3 here. ls is like viewing the content of your directory, but if you want to make sure that it's there before you change into the directory. Okay, so once I already have the version of GCC, I can list my content of my folder, and then after that, I can go into the subfolder.
How did you get there so fast?
I'm sorry? How did I get here?
Yeah, with that.
I did only the update. I didn't do the update and upgrade.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't have to do the update. If you want to cancel it, you can hit Control-C and just run the update. Only. Yeah, that saves you about 15 minutes. Yeah, I checked. It's not gonna matter if you, as long as you run update, you should be fine. You don't have to upgrade. I should have omitted that when I re-uploaded it, but I forgot. Sorry. Yeah, Control-C is to cancel in both Windows and Linux.
Does it cancel out the whole machine?
No, but click inside your virtual machine, like your terminal, click on the terminal and hit Control-C. And then rerun the update only.
Take out that little black box.
Yeah, your terminal. And then press Control-C for cancel.
So don't do the update, just do the update.
So now.
Do the update, not both. Not, you shouldn't do the upgrade. Cause
Oh, I see.
upgrade, yeah, it should just run the update only. Sudo app update. And that should take seconds. Cause update and upgrade is gonna take about 15 minutes.
Because yes.
Yes, yeah, you press Y. And then enter.
So you do the update, you don't do the two.
Yeah, you don't need to do the second part. I read it out the second part. Only do the front. Sudo app update. And then after that, you're gonna do 15. You're gonna install Python install package. Pip. Now, pip usually comes with most OSs, right? Like Windows or Linux, but you want to make sure that it is the latest version for the latest Python. It might be pip for Python 2. And then install the build essential, which is the dependency for the app. Getting an error? If it's already updated, it might go on.
Oh, no, when I got my stuff.
Which one do you want? That's it. You have to for 15. Just run update only.
I did.
Okay. And then, oh, maybe it's already did the pip for you. Did you do the pip already? I think you should be fine. You can do, you can check Python version. If it's 3.10 and up, you're good. Does it show? Python -- version? If Python came in, it should already have it.
Mine says it's waiting, held by the process.
Yeah, 311.
Yeah. Yeah, 3.11. Huh.
You okay?
Yeah, it should be all right. I think 3.10 and up's okay. And then yeah, install the dependencies and see. It should be fine. I think 3.11 pip should come with that, but yeah, you can just go into here, open up your browser, and then go outside here and copy the link. So, okay, this link. Okay. Yep.
How many seconds do I have to do?
I don't know until it pops up. It says, okay, so hit Control C. Which one did you do?
I did just the update. And then
Close this so you can see the whole thing.
Mhm.
Click on here.
here.
Yeah, Control C. No, just click there and then press Control C. All right. Press the up arrow key. One more time.
Up arrow.
Center. Arrow key. One more time.
Okay.
I think that because you have canceled it, so it's doing that. Okay, press and proceed. Yeah, so proceed to the next one.
Okay.
16. I think you should be all right without the pip.
The way it says it.
Yeah, just the way exactly like what it says. And you can also check your Python version by doing Python space dash dash version. Okay, so once we have the build essential, check your GCC version, right? Okay, just close this. And then we close that. Oh, you were still upgrading.
Is that?
So you had a lot of terminal open.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what. Close it. Open up your terminal again. Don't do anything yet. Kelly? Okay, now try 15 again. Yeah, you had done the upgrade. And I guess the process is still running, that's why it showed. Because there was a window that you closed, so close that. Go here.
So it's, yeah,
Oh, it crashed anyway.
crashed. Yeah,
It's crashing.
go back to screen.
No? We'll just see if it is. Yeah, it's crashing. Oh, you can learn, right? The wrong side. Once that loads, put the baby blue X to close. And start at start at 14, but just update only, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So for those of you who have gotten through this, we're gonna go ahead and do we're gonna access the folder CD Volatility3. So once we're in it, you can also check, right, by using ls, and you can see all the content of the folder. If in case you want to see if the things are there, okay? So what 19 is about running the setup. So basically we're installing the application from its folder. But we're gonna run the setup Python file using Python 3. So if you don't have Python 3, that will not work. So you can do Python 3 and then set up .py, and that exists right here, right? You can see that. And we're gonna do a build. And it's gonna basically build the application, and then you're going to do the install now using Python.
Saying nothing exists in front of you.
If you're in the wrong directory or you don't have the directory, that's why it doesn't. Python 3 cannot open. Oh, you're at a different step. Hold on. Yeah. Just follow the step. It should take you.
These things,
Yeah, if you don't have Dorf2 JSON, if you didn't install this, yeah, you don't have to. I think. Yeah, did you clone? Step 29.
Yep, that install.
Are you inside? Check to see if that folder came down. If it came down, you should be able to get. But I don't think this is necessary for the stuck nets though. But anyway.
Yeah, I made that break.
Okay. And then you can do ls to see if GCC Go goes there. If not, you can likely you can skip those. Stucknets doesn't require Dorf2 JSON anyway. But anyway. Okay. I'll get there in a second. Okay, so once we have done the installation, you're gonna run the volatility, and then you should be able to answer these questions, right? We got this from last time. So yeah, I think most of us got here already. So once I've done the installation, it tells me right here, right? It finished the processing, and then we're gonna run this command. And it gives you the help, which tells you which command you can use for different things. So you look through those and answer the questions. We left off like about this step. Now on here, right, you can mount your USB, download it to your USB, but I put the link here for you. So all you have to do is, I put it on my Google Drive already. So open up your Firefox. Copy the link from your lab document. And then in the virtual machine Firefox, you are going to paste it. And it's going to tell you this. Just click download and put it onto your desktop or your downloads folder. Okay.
This is the thing that has a virus on it, right?
Yes, there's actually stucknets on it. You guys know stucknets, right?
The one that still exists to this day.
Yep.
The one.
Supposedly we made it for, yeah, we created it for Iran, yeah. Yeah. Stucknets is old, but it's been modified many times.
So this is what okay, so we're downloading that zip.
Yeah, you downloading the zip. You don't have to put it on the USB, right? You can save it onto the USB. So I should say copy, open browser on.
I can't find the virus.
It's on the lab document, step 22. Paste link onto URL bar of Firefox. Okay, so once you then download, right? So what I did was I go into here, right? I open up Firefox, which is this icon right here. I go to step 22 of the lab document. I copy this link. And I go back to my virtual machine and paste it onto the URL bar. Paste and go. It's going to take me to the download page and you just click the download button. Okay. Now save it to your downloads folder or desktop where you can find it. Okay. So in my virtual machine, once I download it, I can go into home and double click downloads. It should be there. Okay. So I should say Kali VM, double click home, then go open downloads folder, then copy paste, right? So in Kali, once I downloaded my image, I open up my double click home icon on my desktop and then go click on downloads and I should see the downloaded here that I have saved from the earlier step. Just right click, copy, and then go back to home. And inside the Volatility3, open that up and I want you to paste it in there. Okay. Again, once you have downloaded your file from step 22, save it onto downloads folder, double click home, go to downloads, right click the zip file, copy, go back to the home by clicking the back button, open up the Volatility3 and paste it in there. Okay.
Extract it in here as well.
Yeah. Once you do that, you just extract it there.
I don't have
Did you do the first step? You probably didn't get cloned. So first step. Part B. Yeah. Once you copy paste, you can use yeah, you can unzip it, huh? But you have to make sure that you're in the folder already. The CD bulletin. Other question? Give me a second, let me help. And then I'll walk to it. So move back. CD. That's our check. Okay, now CD Volatility3. Yeah. LS, let me see. Yeah, you never closed it, so back to the first step. Oh, not that first step.
Never got out right now.
Yeah, you might have cloned it to a different area. Let it boot,
Yeah.
redo the update only. Start from here. Or log in and restart.
One on the 17.
So you're at 14.2. Okay.
Always do it, always do it.
No, I'm saying, your version is 14.2. That's fine. And your phone Volatility3, so it should be there.
That would be it, so let's put in.
Log in and then we can step 14. Just follow the steps. Already have terminals that are open. Yeah, because you're in a different folder. So CD. Press enter. Move back to the root, the whole folder now, move back to CD. So just type it, CD Volatility3. CD and then delete. Yeah. Let's look at your directory, LS. Yeah. Yeah, now you can. Well, you already unzipped it. You already have them in file, you just unzip it. And then you already unzipped it, so that works. And then, yeah, I think you don't have to do 28, 29, and 30. Yeah, so just 30. Because when you did this earlier, right? You cloned it, but then you have to move back. So you can do the 31. I was gonna say. Okay.
Do I do the git clone?
You want to say so next time.
So for the Dorf JSON, hold on. All right, I think we left off here where I had downloaded and I copy and paste it to Volatility3, right? Which is this step. Okay. So now, let me see devices. So I did 23, right? I don't need 24.
27.
Yeah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to proceed to unzip the vmem file. So what I'll do, so we copy and paste it over, right? Now we're going to go to 27. So you can right click and do extract files, or you can just do the unzip because it is a .zip. You can just execute the unzip. An unzip is already pre-installed in Linux, Debian Linux. Okay, so we're gonna do unzip stuxnet.vmem.zip. Now, if it throws an error, that just means that your file wasn't copied properly, right? See how it's inflating now, right? And if it's throwing an error here, that just means that your file wasn't moved to the right location. You need to make sure that you paste it inside the Volatility3 folder, which is where the app is. Okay?
Yeah, 2 errors.
And then you need to do the git clone. I don't think that you need to do this, right? But I'm gonna try it because the step is listed there. You can clone the dark JSON inside Volatility3, yes. It's already, okay, so it says the packages is interrupted, you must manually do sudo package. It already exists, so you clone that, you update it. Okay, so you're fine, just do, 16,
16?
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
One thing,
Upgrade, update,
I don't think I've gotten to that part yet, it's still like 25%.
yeah, you're upgrading, that's what I think. The plugin for the kernel table is unsatisfied with symbol table. The whole thing.
Sorry, like I was show on it, on one, right, yeah, on the side of it, on the downside, it's like this whole picture is so bang, it says, I'm not stupid, you never satisfied, you never satisfied. So it really look like a whole bag of muscles.
That's fine.
You thought we were talking about houses, it's like, yeah, you didn't have all of them. Like.
And then once you get the group, sure, CD is back. Do everything here and then CD it back to Volatility. Yeah. You download on inside the Volatility. So open up the Firefox browser and then copy paste it onto the Firefox. This folder, once that happens, go to downloads folder with your phone. Copy the whole Volatility. So copy it. Okay, so your bill essential is interrupted. Package was menu 32. Configure A. Over here. See the bill. So fine, so.
So that I'm on 19?
Yeah, second step.
Second step. Okay, thank you. Push the button.
You have to go back to Volatility3 folder. Yeah, okay.
See that?
Okay, yeah, so it's fine with the symbol. Yeah, for the prep setup, install that. Yeah, so it might not be able to build out all the, we'll see how the function works, because I think their old function is not working with, so the symbol, you might get a symbol error, so for some of the functions, so I'll explain.
Okay.
So do the next step. Function?
Yeah, what USB do we cover the function?
Oh, just, so, okay, go back here. Open up your Firefox, you just download it directly. Laptop link, copy this link. So it's downloading, right? So it's gonna go into your downloads folder inside of the, right? And you can get there by, so you need to move it. And then, so, download it. This folder. There we go, so right click. Terminal.
And how do I read these? Cause I'm trying to find
Yeah, so you have to go through and look for specific ones.
which line is it on? Is it on this one?
It could be any of them. The whole point is to find it, right? If I can give you the answer to everything in life, then
Yeah, but there's a lot of writing. I like
yeah, you have to read, cause we already copy paste, so read through it.
I think it's more like, yeah, but this is the right now.
I never did it read it.
Yeah, you have to move back one step because you're inside that folder, so you gotta move back. Oh, this, you have to press yes. Yes, again. Let it finish install and then, yeah, until it's done, then you can go back into the, then here, you just go configure yes. Hit tab. Enter. Every time you see that, just tab yes, okay? All right. Okay, so I was in here, right? I unzipped, which deflated my file. I clone inside Volatility3. I'm gonna go ahead and do cd dorf2 JSON. Because I clone it's there, and then we're gonna do go. So copy this. Yeah, I think without these steps, it's gonna run into symbol error. And then Callie. So when you get here, make sure that you answer yes to proceed. And then you gotta build go. So it's gonna take like a few seconds to install the plugins. Yes. So it's CD. Yep. No, it's still there. So CD only, press enter. Wait, it says You haven't finished install, so inside, yes. You have to let it finish. Yeah, now go CD. There. Okay, now CD will go. Tab. There, yeah, that's right.
Now I.
Okay, that's correct.
That was finally after. They finally downloaded.
Okay, so I did where was it? I did install GCC Go. Now I'm gonna build Go. And at some point, it's gonna prompt you the graphical user interface, maybe not. Okay, so it downloaded, and then we're gonna do Darkchasen 2 now. So as you know, in Linux, using a tool like this, the majority of the work is to build its dependencies. Because it's open source, right? So a lot of the times you have to get through. Now we have to add in the symbol files. The symbol file is important for this app to work, right? So we're gonna go ahead and run the whole thing, okay? Wait.
That's the same thing happening. So that's supposed to face the whole zip file or?
Yes, the whole zip file. Yeah, did you get the same error?
Yep.
Or maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Okay. That's fine. We'll see if it works or not. We might be missing a symbol file. So at this point, I know that I need to fix this step. So what you're gonna do is the next step, you need to change back into the directory. So do a CD and then CD Volatility3.
Go back one.
Yeah, go back to one directory. You can go directly back to one directory, but for those of you who, right, you can do CD or CD space ... is gonna take you back one directory.
You download the Python.
So once you already back here, your vol.python file is there, right? Your volatility file should be there. If you're not sure, do an ls, right? Once I am here at step 31, even if it presents an error, you need to add these two steps. You need to do CD space ... or CD and then CD Volatility3. Okay. Yeah, it's maybe I think the hash ID that I have on there might be incorrect now. They move things around,
So
so
that's not gonna work.
yeah, it might show an error. I'm getting the same error. So I have to look into
Oh,
the plugins. Maybe yours work. I don't know.
but that could install Go. Or is it GCCGO? Go. Which is really easy.
Okay. All right. So it's okay. If in the case where if you don't have the symbol file, I think it should still work. So now we're gonna move back to the Volatility3 folder. You can do CD and then CD Volatility3 or CD space ... is going to get you back one folder. And then you are going to run this and let's see if it works.
I've got a lot of money though.
Yeah, it's like.
Yes.
How'd you get all that?
Yeah, mine's a lot too.
Mine didn't work either. I got this. Whatever that was.
So if it's just a bunch of,
Yeah, you gotta wait for it to be done.
once it's done,
I got this.
So make sure that you have the right file, stuxnet.vmem, and then the whole thing, right? I updated it for the latest lab, so it should be correct. Well, because it's
Files
missing
are-
step or
Files,
something
like
is
dump
wrong.
files, this right, this files.
Yeah, let me see your output. Your terminal, your output terminal, your Windows, your VM. Where's your VM? Your virtual machine.
Oh, right here. So this is right. And then. Yeah, right.
Unsatisfied requirements plugins info kernel level. Your symbol table. The same error. You ran it's with your symbol table. What does it say? It says unsatisfied requirement plugins info layer name symbol table. No, it must be something.
I think that's good.
LP.
Copy these Firefox in the virtual.
So in that,
It's pretty good, but it won't be. Can do that.
Something partly part of it.
Like that.
Alright, so click it.
It's this.
Yeah, just highlight flexibility. Backspace. Alright, now, right click it.
Paste it.
Yeah, right click it. Paste. Paste and go. Now.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. Right, down anyways. Where do I shoot? Down and fire. Oh, no, it's finished. So, yeah, so to, first thing we should put up our. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, just let it go until it's done, and
Just go
then
with
it'll be
Mark,
run
that.
the next.
This one.
this one.
Okay, so I figured out why your symbol table was throwing an error. It's not in the right directory. Right? So if you make sure that when you do the symbol table, it's in the Volatility3, not inside JSON. Yeah, not in the DARF2 JSON, right? And it's gonna do this for a while, right? And then it's going to give you the complete when you see your pop-up again. Then you can run your Python
Same thing.
volume 3.
I get corrected.
Okay, so if that doesn't, just screenshot that. Let me see if it's doing that. So it's still interpreting all the symbol, and then so now we can run the Windows info. And it should give you this, right? If yours is throwing up something funky, that means that it's failing to build. It should tell you some kind of error. So it should say, right, what kind of kernel that is. Basically, it's going to give you the address. It is an NT build, so that means that you know it's a Windows, and it shows you XP right here. Okay. So what is the system time? Your system time should be 4:31:36, right? And it's on 2011 June 03. Okay.
The image data.
So this
So don't click on.
if you scroll down,
Here?
your image date is here on the bottom.
Go through your downloads. Yeah.
There, huh?
Yeah, no, don't put your bottom.
This one?
Yeah. Oh, so you said like, copy the whole thing, like, so, yeah, get all these above, put that arrow. You have the velocity file, right? You did yeah, put that back up. Oh, no, yeah, put that X on that. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, that'd be. Just like that, right? Right click to the zip file. Yeah, right click. And then. Right, I think like desktop. Like stay on that window where you are. Yeah, this is like desktop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like computer,
Well, that's
now like
there.
desktop. Yeah, no, velocity 3. Right, not on anything like right way. Pace.
Oh, yeah, I think- Which step of this one? Well, the atlas is the one we have. So then here, did we already do this one?
When that's done, rerun the. We already, yeah. We already registered.
Over 60. Surprisingly, that's. It says it's 10. Oh.
Screenshot that. I'll help you with some of the things. Screenshot first. Yeah, so you can do CD. If you want to go back to the original home, just CD only. Yeah, screenshot and then I'll help you guys with the questions. You copy and paste it already? Yeah. Okay, so you just do step 27. Open up terminal. Okay, so some of you get stuck right here because somehow your symbol is not associated. Take a screenshot. And then the system time information, it's going to be this. So I will copy and paste it so you can see. Copy. It didn't highlight. So it was June 3rd, 2011 at 4:31:36. And then the version of the RAM capture image, the Windows version. So I need a screenshot whether you're successful or not there. Right? So you are going to look at the NT build lab right here. It is, you can put Windows XP. You don't have to copy the whole thing, but I will put the actual edition of XP. It was XP 2600. So, oops. And then for the number of processor, you can see that there, which is 1. Right here. Kernel number of processor. And then the image date, the timestamp for the PE or the machine is this, 2008. I don't think you might run this out.
After I run this. Run this, that same thing happens, and I run this, the same thing pops up.
Yeah, I think something is weird with your build. It's either,
Trying to look to see which one pops up.
no, you won't be able to. For simple files, it's not working.
But
Like, even though it we did it, right?
Like this capture doesn't work from that one.
reclone base zone, like in 28.930, okay? And then CD space dot dot it back to, we already did this, we just did this right now, so work backwards, just start like after this to this step, and then try it again, right? If it doesn't work, then just screenshot it. So now just do, yeah, clone it again.
Okay, go down.
Wait, let me see. I think again. Okay, other questions? Okay, so once you have this, so this gives you your image information, your Windows version, right? So as you know, in RAM, it also loads operating system information, so it's important. And then P3 is going to give you hierarchy in processes. So now we need to look at your processes that was stored on RAM at that moment in time, right? We are going to go back to 2011, where the RAM execution of the process is, the process was executed and stored on RAM. Okay, so we're going to run the plist or the PS list, which is your process list. And it should look like this if everything works accordingly. So if you don't have your symbol table working appropriately, you will get the same error as the last one. Okay. So after you run this, take a screenshot, and then we're gonna do, actually you don't have to do a screenshot for this one. This is the PS list. So it gives you all the processes. Now we're gonna do the hierarchy in the processes. So your PS tree is going to give you the associated processes that was stored on RAM. Sorry, I have to expand this so I could see everything. And it's gonna take a few seconds, and this is kind of hard to read, right? Screenshot, and then the last two processes. I have the process ID here, so I'm gonna do this. You don't have to put the address number. One second, let me put this on here real quick. That was the last one, and then the one prior to that, you can see, which is the next asterisk up. That's the 660. And it's the Procmon exe here. So whenever you see exe, you kind of know that it's already Windows executable, right? And if you have the result, you can copy and paste your. So I see that the vmtray.exe and that, but in the investigation process, you want to look at, right? It also gives you the timestamp, the location. It might be a little hard to read, but it does give you all the information there. Okay.
Stacy, I can't get fast then.
One second, I'll be right back. I think you have to. Okay, just screenshot and then I'll write down the answer. So I think you should have waited for your upgrade earlier, and
Yeah.
that was when it begins to have problems. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove. And then we're just gonna unzip it. I tried to delete the state, but copy paste. Yeah, so when your processes was interrupted, it keeps wanting to go back because it wasn't done. Yeah, so it keep wanting to go back and it's saying because that you can fix it, but it needs to be manually fixed. So,
I shouldn't let it go.
yeah, that's right. Patience is golden. Okay, so let's try to speed you up here. Especially depends on a lot of things.
I'm learning the patience.
In this field, patience is very important.
You gotta keep going back.
Yeah, you have to troubleshoot by going back and see why it's like that.
So I thought I was great.
You know, I fixed a symbol issue and it took me like a little bit of research, so I had to fix some of that. And as you use this tool, you're gonna see volatility will evolve over time and you have to add in the proper packages. Okay, so once, it's not too bad. Okay, log in. Wait. Tab. Hit tab, yeah, hit tab. Okay, go ahead.
It all was right.
Right? That's how you can do it.
So what's the hell am I on now?
Yeah, just continue, but see what you're doing, right? Why is PS list?
If it doesn't work, I just take pictures and put it in there. Is that-
Yes, and then we'll get that, yeah. Yeah, it's the same problem with him. I don't know why it's not coming down all the same. Yeah, on the outside,
Huh?
oh, you have.
Oh, no, I think that was, I did it wrong, and then I did it again, and that's when I get the 20.
Yeah, so your symbol file, and you did the symbol files again, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's the same thing with him. I don't know why it's not coming down all the same. You know, so the version, I think it's important, like which version of GCC you're using. Like the one I have, the 13.3, it's completely fine. But I think that when I looked at his, I think your GCC is also 13.3. No, I think there's, if your GCC version is different, like in the compiler is different, I think it doesn't build the symbol accordingly. That could be it, because it only explains, because even if you reinstall the plugin, because I tried on his, somehow it's not interpreting all the symbol. So just take your screenshot. That sucks. Yeah.
So we keep going down the code and take pictures of each one.
Yeah, the only thing, okay, so I did the symbol like you,
Popping out the same message.
right? I'm running the info. See, this is my symbol table. I did it inside the Volatility3 folder and it shows fine. And you built your go-go and all of those things, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it happening only to me and him or everyone?
I don't, yeah, I
Okay.
think
That's
just you two and then maybe other people, I don't know, I didn't. Okay.
Something about the framework plugin.
Yeah, I think sometimes,
That's how you find.
so you know, when you did the help, each of the function has a plugin. So if it's not able to pull the plugin, and that could also be like package download, updates, something happened. And even if you update it successfully, sometimes
Even when the beginning when we skip the app update.
you can try to upgrade and possibly that works with the GCC version. Because I think some of them are using 14 something and it's fine. Did you check your GCC? I'll tell you mine. I'm at version 13.3. So if yours is a different version, sometime it is. Depending.
13.3.
Yeah, yours is, yeah, same. So I think it might be just when it pulls the plugin, somehow it's not able to pull all of that. And the only thing that I can remember with the plugins were, you can try that. Here, and then also with the build essential up here. But you install, right?
Yeah, I think.
You did.
Oh, remember where?
Yeah, it was having issue with Python. So that, I think
That's
that's the
probably what it is.
problem. Yeah, that's the problem. You can try to go in and reinstall Python, because if your Python is 3.11, maybe it's not.
Is that the common Python?
Yeah, so if your Python did not install properly, then
It has to be installed inside the volatility directory.
oh no, Python you can install it outside. It's there, just update it. Okay, so I think I did the PS tree. Let me check. Yeah, I did the PS tree. And I got these answers. And then now I'm gonna do PS scan. This is where we're gonna look for rootkits, the processes that rootkit might do. So read this part. So if yours is not successful, give me a screenshot, but see what this this command do for the image. Of course, because your Python is missing all the proper function. So I think when we did the install, it might be the error. Remember, maybe that was earlier. So I recommend, if you run into problems, like you can try this outside another time. It should work like this. Yeah. But most importantly, we want to know how to do this, why we're doing it, right? Not just to get the answer or the screenshot. Okay, so this is important to get hidden processes that rootkit might use, right? Screenshot this, and then it asks you compare the output to the PS list. The PS scan is gonna give you any anomalies, identify the differences between the PS scan and the PS list.
Yeah.
So if you look at this, right, look at the processes, right? Earlier you saw that I've written down the last two processes, the proc comment and the VMware tray, right? This is gonna give you more processes. Why? Because it's gonna include all the hidden processes. Are you guys listening? Right? So the PS scan the reason why we do this, especially when you're examining malware, is you're gonna look for hidden processes, as it says right here. Sometimes these might be inactive still. It's in queue, but it's gonna activate when the instruction for the malware tells it to activate. So that means that when you're doing a PS scan, you're gonna get a longer list, or the list that's gonna show some processes you see, it's disabled. Whereas when you look at PS list, that's the active processes, right? Where PS scan, it includes inactive, as it says up here, inactive processes. So what's the difference? Right? PS scan output shows disable processes which are hidden or inactive, right? So you might have processes that are there, but it doesn't necessarily kick in or running, right? Until it's instructed to do so. And when you have rootkit or malware that does that, you would need to examine the processes, and PS scan is going to give you that. So now we're gonna execute the malfind. So, and if you are having issue executing these functions, it's because your Python maybe did not come down properly or did not install properly earlier. Okay. So screenshot what you have, 36. We're almost done. Be patient with it. We're gonna do a malfind, and this is going to give you memory ranges, right? That could potentially have injected code. And this is important for malware only, or injected code related.
Can't get past this.
Did you clone from the beginning?
Yeah.
You're not even in the directory. So it tells you there's no directory. That means you did not clone. Go up. We started from the beginning.
Yeah.
Go up. First step of part C is not. Part B, I'm sorry. Going. Yeah. Okay. So cannot move forward yet. So copy this. The 13. Did you do update already? Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you skipped that step, somehow. Okay,
Yes.
essentially. See? Okay, then now you can do that other step.
From over here. Do this one.
So you already did the update, so now you're gonna do the 15. Okay, so malfind is gonna be like this, right? It's gonna give you the storage addresses related to each of the executable. You see? So I have the LSASSEXE, right? And its addresses. Explorer, that's like the Internet Explorer. Service host, a lot of service host, and then services.exe. So it's gonna give you the appropriate addresses associated with the executable or the processes, the ranges that contain the injected code. So you know that it sits where? It sits in these processes. Okay, so I'm gonna list them, okay? And you don't have to put down the address. That's the first one. Mine just went somewhere else for a second. Your services. Your service host. And in general, you're gonna see these executable for Windows. That's malware related. You're gonna see this because it needs to activate the system services and the SV host. So you often see that. And then what's other? So I have 3 for that one, and then if it's internet contact, you're gonna get the browser. So because this is an older image, you have oh, I'm sorry, not browser, file explorer, right? And then the last one is LSASS. Any question? I know we're getting close to 8. I'll stop pretty soon. Like we're gonna try to get through some of these. Almost done. Okay, another option that you can do is you can do network scan or net scan. This is gonna allow you to, and it tells you right here, look at ports and information. So volatility is kind of wide range in how we would be able to use the scan. And while that's doing it, I'm gonna put this back up. Yeah, so you have to catch them. Okay, good. You already downloaded, did you download the, okay, next? Open up your browser. Open, left click, okay, copy this. Fine. The file, copy. Home. So, and just close that. Yeah. It's your blue accent. Close your browser. Yeah. Now, back to your, you can close that. Go back to your terminal here. Go to step 27. That's where we left out, okay? Okay, we're good. So the net scan, I ran the net scan and it's gonna throw a trace back. So, and this is a software issue. So let's see what it says. No implemented error version Windows is not supported. So that means that the software continues to evolve to the newer version of Windows and it doesn't support the older Windows. So we can screenshot that. And then I'm going to do the verify info. And if you read the verify info, right, this is going to examine the dynamic library. And you can add in some of the DLL lists or get IDs. So it's going to associate the dynamic library information with the processes. As we talked about before with malware, it loves to activate or utilize dynamic library, which is used for driver, to execute at the low level. So you can look at the dynamic libraries that are loaded to RAM. And you see this with one of the processes we list, right? The CSRSS exe that's associated with the dynamic library. You know that it's in the range that's part of the infection already. So you know, so a lot of the malware windows, this is where you find this process is going to tell you about, you know, what it's doing. So it's using the dynamic library right here. So let's try to see if it's going to give us the correlation. So we had a bunch of, see, all the executable, the range that we have, and look at the dynamic library that it's using, right? So if we go back up to the beginning, we need to look at the CSRSS all the way. Sorry, I just scrolled up too far. There. So right here is where we see. Okay. Yeah, you got user 32 DLL. Right? This is the executable right here for itself, and then the dynamic library that's associated with that process. So how many DLLs are running in RAM for the EXE? We got 1, 2, 3, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's listing 10 for this particular process. And so you can see the associated dynamic library, like, you know, for WinLogin, you have some encryption going on there. So we can say that this is 10. And we're going to stop at 40. Okay. And if you surpass that, great for you. That's fine. You're supposed to do all of the things because this could be your job one day, malware hunt. Who knows, right? It's a really good learning process for you. I encourage you, if you didn't get done successfully here, you can also download Kali and do it outside. It's good practice. Volatility3, if you add this to your resume, it's a plus, honestly, right? How many people in the industry is going to claim that they have a little bit of experience with it, but know the tool well? Okay, so we are going to go ahead and do the DLL list. So first, you want to drill down to process range. looking at processes of injected code. Then you're gonna go into dynamic library associated with the process. Then now we're gonna look at the DLL list, right? Which lists the process. It's basically the other way around, right? We're gonna look at the dynamic library list. And again, you can scroll back up and look for that particular process. So how is the output different than the last step? So basically, you're getting the same information, right? But let's compare. In the last step, I don't have a lot of the hidden processes. So if you pull up the dynamic library, it's going to associate all the processes with all the dynamic libraries, including the disable or the hidden processes, right? In the last one, the very info, I only have the appropriate dynamic library for the active processes or the running processes. So how's the output different? This one display or output, oops, all DLL, including hidden, disable DLL related to processes. Oh, I'm sorry, disable processes with DLLs. Right, we saw the hidden processes earlier, and that's important for malicious or advanced, I should say, advanced malware. And then now we're gonna drill down on who got the malware there, right? We already looked at the processes. We already looked at associate dynamic library for those processes. So we can pin like how we can find information about how impactful this particular malware is. But now we need to get the user information. Did you unzip? Oh, I'm sorry. Move back one step. So CD space dot dot. Type it. Yeah. Type CD space dot dot. Press enter. Okay. Now you're in the folder where the application is. Up arrow key. Twice. Center. There you go. Successful. Yay. Press it out. Okay, good. All right. We got, so what kind of users we're looking at, right? So we got local system user, we got administrators, a user group that's default. There's domain users, administrators, local system, authenticated users. These are your built-in Windows group mostly, right? And then you got the everyone, which is the default hidden group. But in Windows XP, that was still not hidden, right? It was still there until Windows 7 is when they changed that. And then these, you guys know what these numbers are, right? That's associated group ID with. So it tells you that the processes that are associated. So to answer this question, and it might not be Robert because it's a different image. Sorry, I forgot to remove that. But okay, so take a screenshot if you get that, even if you're not successful, right? Identify the user that are shown on the output. So I'll put down, let's see. I wanted to get to these are the processes that we want right here, the CSREX. So we want these, oops, these 4. So local system administrators, authenticated users, and everyone. So I'll type it. Local system administrators, authenticated user, and everyone. And you see that here? I don't care about the other ones because even though, right, these could also be of important, like the CSV host, and other things, but the one that I want to focus on is the CSRSS, exe one. And then you can skip C. On the StuckNets one, you don't see the actual user. So let me see. Hold on. Okay. And then we can stop here.
Just keep D,
F or G? For C,
40.
yeah, the last question you don't have to do. Okay. Now, if you guys want to do registry hives, I'm gonna run it so you can see. And then we'll stop recording and do attendance. So this tool is useful that it does the registry hive for you, and then it's gonna tell you, right? If you read, we did the hive scan, so it's gonna tell you the physical location of the registry, like where the user settings, encrypted password, all of that. And if you use hive list, you just change this part to hive list, and that changes the plugin, and that's gonna give you the information. So hive list is the next one. I'll run that. So the hardest part with volatility is to get it working with all the plugins, right? The rest, if that works, right? So the hive list, you see, it gives you a little bit more detail on the actual hive location, right? And whether it's disabled or enabled. So you see some of that. And then again, when you run the malfind again, you should be able to, let me rerun that so you can see. Right, that's just the location for injected code. And that's all she wrote. Okay. So in this lab, right, we learned how to use Volatility3, setting it up and be able to integrate plugins for the program to work. But some of the things that we skip that you might find important is that in your RAM, you should be able to also find information like password. So it's important that when you look at the hive list, you can find where your SAM file is located. And then on the image, you need to examine that credential information, because someone can hack into someone else's account as an authenticated user or domain user, or, or even a system account, to be able to place that malware there, right? The story with StuckNets is no one really come forward with saying who created it. We know that we created it as a nation, but there's claim that, or rumor that, certain company actually created it in its signature. However, when an infection like this, you want to find out like how it got there, and that's really important. And RAM is going to tell you the story about processes. password, some cache information. Mostly processes is important for us, right? And when you use Crydex, it's very similar to this. So because it's Windows based, so you're gonna see the same plugins will work. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop the recording.